Storm clouds over flooded Britain. This is the ocean now lying over the farmland of Gloucestershire, and the water is still rising. We spotted this farmhouse, just high enough to stay above water, but totally isolated. One of many country lanes, suddenly impassable. A driver decides it isn't worth trying to get through. And Tewkesbury, repeatedly flooded, but this time it seems the worst of the waters are generally being held back for the moment. The barrage of bad weather that's produced all this is highly unusual. We've just had the windiest December in the UK since 1969. Also, the country's wettest December since 1993, and the highest storm surges in England since 1953. There are places where the defences have been overwhelmed, but what's remarkable is how many have done their job. The fields have filled with water which would otherwise be flowing into the streets. But looking ahead, as the population of the country rises and there's growing pressure to build in low-lying areas like this, the risks are bound to go up, especially if climate change makes extreme weather more likely. Another spectacular onslaught on the coast this morning. This was Wales. Defences along the shoreline are being tested like those inland, and it's unnerving.
I've lived here all my life and I have never ever seen anything like this before. I mean, I've seen high tides, but this is exceptional. It really, really is.
This amateur footage of Aberystwyth at the weekend captures the violence of these conditions. And scenes like this have led to accusations that the government isn't doing enough to keep people safe. A claim strenuously denied in the Commons.
Flood management is a real priority for this government. It has a vital role to play in protecting people and property from their damage caused by flooding and in delivering economic growth. Over the current spending review period, more is being spent than ever before.
A village on the edge of Oxford, one of many local floods across the country, but together they represent a serious national challenge.
I don't think we've woken up to the increased threat of flooding in the future due to climate change. What we're seeing today as a rare event is likely to become much more frequent in the future. And therefore it's important that we do continue to invest in flood defences.
Meanwhile, spare a thought for the United States, plunged into a polar freeze. Air from the Arctic has sent temperatures plummeting. It's also clashed with warm air from the tropics, accelerating the jet stream, driving storms across the Atlantic to Britain. So the floods here are connected, and they won't be over soon. David Shukman, BBC News in Gloucestershire.